El futuro tiene nada más que la confrontación.
Hey, welcome to You Don't Even Like This Show. I'm your host, Adam Todd Brown. I used to host a podcast called Unpopular Opinion, and that podcast was this podcast. But then everyone else in the world decided they liked the name Unpopular Opinion a lot too, so we changed the name to You Don't Even Like This Show. Each week, me and a couple of guests selected from a pool of the absolute sharpest minds the LA entertainment scene has to offer use this here space to talk about whatever the hell we want. News, pop culture, politics, information, you name it, we talk about it. And sometimes my co-host Jeff May is here too. It's a blast. You're gonna love it. Hey everybody, welcome to You Don't Even Like This Show.
God.
What?
Adam.
Huh?
So weird running into you today.
What's
because
happening?
I have something to tell you.
Oh no.
And it's actually that you don't even like sports.
What? No, that's not the show we're doing though. Which is you don't even like this show.
But isn't this a subsidiary of You Don't Even Like Sports?
I mean, sure, they're related.
Isn't this a collab? Isn't this an X?
They share a bloodline, but
is this a Weidel's X Weidel's?
You're starting the show different than the way this show normally starts.
That's because this is a different kind of show.
Wow. Taking over. Just riding roughshod over the Constitution. Who do you think you are, Elon Musk?
I'm Elon Musk. Look at me. I can't get a boner.
President Musk.
And I'm making it everybody else's problem.
So, yeah, this is a different sort of episode. We're doing a local news roundup episode, but a lot of it's about sports. But don't worry, some of these stories not really about sports.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but sometimes sports is the setting, but the real story is actually past that.
Yes.
I don't know if some people figured that out. Like that is one of the things where you don't even like sports. And I've had people tell me like, I don't like sports. I'm like, listen to the goddamn title of the show.
Yeah.
Do you honestly think sports is the main focus of this? You idiot.
It's really not.
Anyway, don't be an idiot. Listen to You Don't Even Like Sports. Also available on this network.
Yeah, give it a listen. It's where podcasts are at. And here's the thing. We've been putting out our most recent episodes for free. So go listen to them, please.
Adam asked not to, but I forced it. So
yeah, Jeff bootlegged them. They're all available on Napster.
Check it out on LimeWire. It's virus.ydelts.exe. Check that out.
So we are talking about a bunch of sports stories in large part because we're a day removed from the Super Bowl. And that ties into the story I want to talk about the most.
You remember the Super Bowl?
Yeah, Super Bowl
that happened yesterday. That was it was crazy that.
Yeah, I mean, well,
yesterday.
You say yesterday in that it's like 1:45 a.m. and we were up all night.
Clockwise, it was yesterday. We are still going, and we will not stop going. And I am very proud for winning that game.
Oh, yeah. And how happy are you that took home the MVP?
I honestly was not expecting that. That's not something it was kind of unprecedented. And so a big shout out to great championship team for an amazing season.
Yeah, unless it was the Chiefs. Fuck them. Just blew up that whole bit.
Oh no, the bit. Out of the bit.
Not the bit.
Fuck you, idiots. We're recording this on Friday. We don't even know what happened.
Fucking dumbasses.
You fucking dumb dicks. What do you think? You're listening to us talking to a microphone in real time? You fucking dunce.
Wow.
You're an ass. You're a fucking ass for even believing us.
Buffoons.
Total imbeciles.
Buffoons.
Please don't stop listening. We need you here.
Please.
I'm so sorry that Adam told me to say that to you.
If you have time, listen to this twice. If you're listening to the ad-supported version.
Go to YouTube, actually, and like, thumbs up, subscribe.
Yeah, if you're a paying subscriber, you can delete this the second it hits your timeline if you want.
We don't give a shit.
Yeah,
you don't even have to listen to it. Shut it off if you pay.
Yeah, throw your phone in the fucking river. Give a shit.
We're the bad boys of Patreon.
Just thank you for the money is all.
Yeah.
So here's these first two stories I feel like tie in together, at least in my own head. The first one, Jeff, Luka Doncic got traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis.
I understand our non-sports people not understanding this.
Yeah.
Or not caring and thinking that this isn't a big deal. This might be the biggest trade in this might be the biggest trade since Bill Russell was traded for the Ice Capades.
Well, I have in the notes, I saw a post on Blue Sky where it said, explain the Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis trade to me in girl terms. And the reply was, Destiny's Child just traded Beyonce to TLC for Chili, which kind of.
Yeah. Anthony Davis has, I would say, the most famous unibrow in sports.
He is the host of a prank show now.
Oh, of course he is.
I didn't know he had the durability to host an entire season of television, but
Well, they film those in like 2 weeks.
yeah,
So,
that's true.
yeah.
Yeah, the thing about this trade, there's so much about it that has never happened. For one, and this I think has happened a lot, but it's been pointed out, the Mavericks must just clean fucking hate Luka Doncic.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
I don't know how he is in the locker room, but I don't know if they were going to make it to the NBA Finals without him.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. He's fresh off taking his team to the NBA Finals. He's 25 years old, which is a baby in basketball terms. But at the same time, he's been playing professional basketball, I think, since he was 14.
Yeah. Is it because he's doughy? Is that why people think he's not like dominant?
Yeah, they say it's because of his conditioning.
Fixable for one.
Fixable. And also, I would get that if you were trading for anyone other than Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is commonly referred to as street clothes because he's hurt all the fucking time. So the trade just doesn't make sense from a who's getting what standpoint unless the Dallas Mavericks just fucking know something.
It might be Mark Cuban just being like, this guy's an asshole and I don't want him on the team, or
He doesn't have a controlling stake in the team anymore. He sold that off.
he can't advise or anything like that.
Well, he said he wasn't involved in it. That's the other weird thing about this. No one knew it was happening.
It's like Beyonce releasing a secret album.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a lot like
Like
that.
the Lemonade album.
Yeah. Because a lot of times with a trade like this, you'll get rumors ahead of time. And in this case, no one knew Luka Doncic was available to be traded. It has come out that the Mavericks reached out to one other team, but we don't know who it is. But they just called the Lakers and were like, you fucking want this guy? Will you come take him?
The Lakers are like, oh, yes, we do.
I mean, you can't blame them. Like, apparently LeBron didn't even know this was happening. And this is the first thing the Lakers have done not to appease LeBron James in years.
Well, look, I mean, it's not like they won the championship, you know?
Yeah. I mean, they won the one in the bubble, but is that the same?
It's a nice asterisk in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Or as every apparent person on YouTube calls it, an asterisk.
Yeah, my thing is visual. I watch a lot of true crime shows, and Jeff, you do not know how many people mistake the word vigil for visual.
That's weird.
Yeah. Every time it happens, someone's loved one goes missing somewhere. I don't know if people know that, but every time you say visual, someone just went missing. That one was my fault.
I legit, like, I'll be watching, like, stuff where it's, like, professional voiceover people, and they'll be like, but of course it has an asterisk. And I'm like, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
That's the name of, like, a cartoon Viking in Europe.
Yeah.
Asterix and obelisk.
So, yeah, this Luka Doncic trade, it just dominated sports headlines.
For those of you that are not familiar with the sport of basketball, just a quick little history. So James Naismith in the 1800s. No, so basically, this is the guy who gets on the wrappers of cards and on like the 2K, like he's been on a 2K cover, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
But also Anthony Davis has.
Yeah.
This is the kind of trade where you're just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, it's a whiplash trade. Like, the entire sports community could only talk about this because it's an unheard of trade.
And the reason people say the Mavericks must just absolutely hate Luka Doncic, if they had kept him, they were going to have to sign him to a Supermax contract, which I think was going to be like $370 million. And now he's not going to get that kind of contract. I mean, the Lakers are going to pay him good, I'm sure. But
Lakers going to pay him good because the Lakers know that they'll make that up in fucking jersey sales. That's the one thing I think that people don't understand about salaries for sports figures is how much money is made on merch. Think about it in terms of like why we cared about the cartoons we did as kids. They didn't care about the cartoons. Those cartoons were commercials to make money by selling toys.
yeah.
Luka Doncic is going to sell a lot of fucking Lakers jerseys. Same thing with Ohtani and the Dodgers. Like they're making a mint off of him just because his name is on the back of their jerseys now.
Yeah. And from a player standpoint, there's nowhere better he could be right now because people immediately started talking about, oh, well, is LeBron going to get traded next? Because there's been a bunch of talk about him getting traded to the Warriors, which, oh my God, let it happen.
That would be something.
I would love to watch LeBron and Steph Curry finish their career together.
I would also love to see if that would be good or bad for those men.
Well, you got to remember, they have all that national team chemistry.
Oh, and they both play in totally different spaces.
Yeah,
on the floor, yeah.
Unlike LeBron and Luka Doncic, I would like to see them make it work for a couple years because I feel like if Luka Doncic's problem is that he's not taking care of his body, no one takes care of their body the way LeBron James does. I don't even think Tom Brady fucking takes care of himself the way LeBron James does.
Does LeBron James eat a strawberry?
Probably not.
Eat a red food? He loves that Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, he tried to trademark it.
He tried to, and everyone's like, what the fuck do you think you're doing?
So, yeah, I mean, he could be like the mentor Luka Doncic needs to become the player he could be. So this could be, it could be a good situation for him. I just don't see what the fucking Mavericks are getting out of it.
I mean, I guess with Luka being a number 2 guy might be good for him as well, right? Like, because he was the number 1 guy in Dallas, even though he was young. Like,
yeah, he's a temperamental guy, though.
Yeah, well, let's see how that goes in LA. Like, that might have to be the thing that tempers him. He's also young. He can be temperamental, but also, like, you can fucking grow. Wouldn't it be really funny if he was just like, sure, I'll come play for the Lakers, but you have to let my son play. Son is 18 years old, by the way.
Yeah, his son is 11.
Yeah.
And he's still fucking lighting Bronny James up in practice.
Probably.
Yep.
I bet 13-year-old Luka would fucking wreck Bronny James.
Oh, hell yeah. That's the thing. Luka, he's a veteran, even though he's only 25. He's been playing pro basketball. And it's like, you want to think, oh, well, he wasn't playing in the NBA before that. No, he was playing where people are setting fires in the stands.
Yeah. You ever see those photos? The fucking Thunderdome ass basketball games that were happening in Serbia and shit.
There's a press conference out there with Nikola Jokic, and he was, I think, playing in Boston, where the fans are like historically very wild. And they were like, "Are you worried about, the crowd noise and the fans tonight?" And he was like, "Dude, I played in Serbia. No, I'm not worried about that."
Was it Boston? Because it's not really well known for being a loud stadium.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I think there were like other factors.
I mean, if there's a population that's going to be willing to fight him in the streets, it would be the population of Boston.
Oh, sure.
Bostonians will fight a losing fight if it means that they think they're doing something correct or to help their team.
Yeah.
I'll get murdered to help the fucking C's win in 6. It's called being a part of the team. We're the 11th man.
So, yeah, this Luka trade, it was pretty crazy. And I know that is a heavily sports-related way to start the pod, but there's a purpose for that.
Yeah. It is a bit of a cataclysm, though. Definitely one of those things that is a generational trade.
For sure. It's a trade people will talk about for a long time.
It's wild that it happened.
Yes. And so I understand all that. I understand, the gravity of this trade and what it means for sports. But I posted a thing on Blue Sky, Adam Todd Brown whatever the rest of it is.
Whatever garbage is
Todd with 1D. Please follow us all there. I posted a thing that said no one must be happier that the Luka trade is dominating sports headlines right now than the New Orleans Saints. Because the same day the Luka trade happened, a report came out from the Associated Press, which is actually a follow-up to a report they did back in 2020. And it's not just good for the Saints, but it was good for the NFL in general that this Luka trade happened, because we just mentioned the Super Bowl just happened. That happened in New Orleans.
Oh, let le bon temps rouler, baby.
So a New Orleans Saints scandal of this magnitude, the kind we're about to talk about, in a universe where the Luka trade doesn't happen, I feel like this is all the sports shows would have been talking about, maybe, if they have the fucking guts to.
That's really,
yeah.
I think there's a lot of media towing the line, and it's not just news media.
So on the same day this Luka trade happened, the Associated Press issued this follow-up report about the New Orleans Saints' involvement in helping the local New Orleans Catholic Church lessen the PR damage from a sex abuse scandal. And when I say sex abuse, they were raping kids.
Yep. We use that language of like, it's an abuse scandal. The reality is it is adult men molesting children.
Yeah. And molesting and raping children in this case.
Is that weird that I consider that word to mean like the whole everything?
Oh, yeah. See, those.
I don't know if we need to get too deep.
No, come on. Let's.
Apologies for anybody of that triggering or content.
Yeah, whatever happened to you. If you're a victim of this, you're a victim.
We're sorry.
And
yeah,
it's fucking bad. Ugh. So the gist here is that a huge lawsuit was filed in 2020 involving more than 600 people who say they were abused by clergy members in the New Orleans area.
Wait. I'm finding it hard to believe. Didn't you say that New Orleans was like a very Catholic area?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read the Bible, but that's against the rules, Adam.
Yeah, it is, Jeff, but have you kept up with the Catholic Church?
I think you might not understand that it is both illegal and also immoral to do that to children. So checkmate. Nice try.
Yeah, you got me there.
They wouldn't do that. They're priests. And they would certainly be dealt with if it was found out. Like, obviously, the other moral leaders of this congregation or whatever we want to address here, they would step in and deal with that and punish the sinners that are masquerading as leaders of their church.
Jeff, they sure did get punished. What happened in most cases is they were transferred to other churches in other parts of the country where they got
traded to the Lakers.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Maybe that's what Luka did.
Oh, no.
Luka, no.
That would be crazy if it just comes out.
The NBA was traded, shuffling around people like it was the Catholic Church.
Or no, that's what the Mavs weren't telling the Lakers.
Yeah. Ooh.
You're not going to believe what we found on Luka's computer.
No, there's a little off-court issue that we want to deal with here.
LeBron can train that out of him, too. It's fine.
It's just like he's Aaron Hernandez and fucking Tim Tebow.
So as part of this lawsuit, and because the Catholic Church in New Orleans was just sending priests who were accused of sexual assault off to other congregations.
It's also important to add, for those of you that aren't familiar, the New Orleans football team might as well be called the New Orleans Catholics. They are the Saints. Yes. They have the fleur de lis. You know, they are a ardently French Catholic city.
And they are owned by a devout Catholic.
Yeah, they're owned by the Pope.
It's crazy, right?
Isn't that weird? Technically, like spiritually owned.
Yeah, the owner of the New Orleans Saints, the current owner, she took the team over when her husband died. She was introduced to her husband by the Archbishop of the New Orleans Catholic Church. So they're tight.
Like a curved bishop.
Yeah, they're very, very close. And so back to this lawsuit. As part of this lawsuit, because they had released all these pedophiles back out into the wild, the Catholic Church in New Orleans agrees to put out a list of priests who had been there who were credibly accused of sexual assault. That's where the Saints come marching in.
Yeah.
What happens at that point when they agree to issue this list is the Saints front office basically collaborates with the local Catholic church to try and basically get names taken off of this list.
I have like a note.
Okay.
How many people are working in that office or just being like, hey, should we be doing this? Like how small of a group does this have to be where you're all rallying together, like, hey, we got to protect these pedophiles. And then like, there's got to be some secretaries that are like, I have notes.
That's the thing. We are talking about men who raped little boys. How do you get involved in this? The Saints' entire front office, they're just all Catholics. They're all devout Catholics. And that's probably on purpose because the owner is a devout Catholic. And they, at least the people involved in this, just like, because it's not just the owner, the team president, there's like a marketing guy or a PR guy that's involved in this. And they have all of these back and forth communications about how they can get names taken off the list, like what questions they should expect to be asked. And just the Saints put all of this time and energy into helping the Catholic Church minimize a huge sexual abuse scandal. And because Luka Doncic got traded the day this story broke, I still haven't heard a single sports talk show mention it. And I watch a lot.
I bet the Saints were wishing another team had got discovered putting out bounties on other players.
Oh, that did happen too, yeah.
Remember when the Saints got caught doing the bounties and everyone was like, oh, how could they? And I'm like, that just seems normal.
Yeah, that's a normal
When that
thing.
scandal went out, I was like, is this a scandal? Hit people hard in football? It seems normal.
And when this story first broke back in 2020, this was the suspicion, was that somehow the Saints were involved in helping to cover this up. And it's because I think someone just like offhandedly mentioned that a Saints representative was on a call with the Catholic Church in 2018. And that's when people were like, wait, what? Why? Why were they there? And there was all this suspicion that they were involved in a PR campaign to minimize this scandal. And they were like, nuh-uh, we were not. And so people were like, okay, well, we're just going to, subpoena your internal emails, obviously. And they did. And those emails came out. And sure enough, they were deeply involved in helping the Catholic Church cover this up.
They're like, yeah, sorry about that. We didn't mean to lie about everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
We thought we were going to get away with it. To be fair, we didn't think you were going to do the subpoena.
And I accept that defense, but it seems like the public doesn't.
Well, the public needs to relax.
Yeah, they could stand to be a little more chill.
What's more important is that a football team is popular.
And the Super Bowl's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, they still let Drew Brees do whatever he wants down there?
Yeah, Drew Brees kind of owns New Orleans.
Yeah, it kind of seems it, right?
He deserves it.
It doesn't seem fair that a guy that's that Mormon looking is allowed to own New Orleans the way he does.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a white guy is what I'm saying.
He got that thing taken off his face, didn't he?
Did he?
I think he did.
It's not fair. He shouldn't be allowed to. That's a quality thing he had on his face.
Because I think he was going to go into TV. He might be in TV somewhere because he got hair plugs right there near the end of his career too.
Oh, that's good for him.
And then, got the
little Carell treatment.
Yeah. Good for you, Drew Brees. But hey,
fucking do it, man. It's a fucking ugly town. It's an ugly business that demands physical perfection of things that you can't even control. So
yeah. And the NFL's an ugly business, but this isn't that.
This is a different kind of ugly.
Yeah, this is an extraordinary scandal.
Yeah. Well, put it this way. Remember when Penn State dealt with that shit? And like, it wasn't even this widespread. Now, granted, it wasn't being done specifically by the organization, but.
Right. Well, in the Penn State case, it was, but still, this is, I don't know.
The repercussions seem to be a lot worse for Penn State than they're going to be for the fucking New Orleans Saints.
It seems like there's going to be no repercussions for the Saints. I mean, the NFL said they're looking into it, but.
They got madder at Tom Brady for doing what everybody else does with footballs.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got more indignant about that than they would be about a child sex scandal. It's the same. It's like one of the reasons that I backed away from the NFL for kind of a long while is the amount of scandals that the NFL would cover up about women getting beaten to shit.
Yes.
They have since stopped doing that, or at least that we're well aware of. But there were stories where, like, remember that kicker at the Pro Bowl that like threatened to kill his wife? And their big decision was to move her to a different room on the same floor.
Oh, I don't remember that, but it's just because there've been so many.
It was a Pro Bowl. I think it was like the Browns kicker during the Pro Bowl. It was like 15 years ago or something like that. But it was like fucking brutal, man.
Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, this is a bad look, but I think just the fact that the Super Bowl's there, conveniently the Luka trade happened, so everyone's talking about that. This is, I think, just not ever going to get the attention it deserves, which is crazy.
So let us know in the chat, in the comments, how you're going to deal with this. What are you doing? Especially people in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Who are you killing? Tell us in the chat. Tell us in the comments who you plan to murder to make this better.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about boycotting the Super Bowl. I'm interested to see
They're not going to.
what the viewership is like.
I mean, some will.
Yeah, some people will.
You have a chance to hear They Not Like Us on the Super Bowl
You think he's
won
going
a
to do
Grammy?
it?
Yes.
I don't think he's going to do it.
You don't think the song that just won Song of the Year at the Grammys and kind of the reason that he got the Super Bowl, of course he's going to sing it. I'll put money on it right now.
I don't think he will because I don't think he's going to want to give Drake any attention on the biggest stage possible.
I will, on this, we'll make it a friendly wager
Okay.
for $3,000.
I will not wager $3,000.
No, but it's just funny. I definitely think he will. I'd put $20
You
on
also
it.
thought Rihanna was going to play Pon de Replay. She didn't.
I really thought she would.
Yeah, I knew she wouldn't.
I was hoping she would, though. That's a good one.
See, I think it would actually be more of a slight on Kendrick Lamar's part to not play that song, to just be like, over it. Fucking
Sure.
over it. And I hope that's what he does because he's got so many songs. Like, he doesn't need to play that song.
Yeah, but I hope he does.
Yeah, I'd actually be kind of surprised, but maybe he will. We'll see. So, yeah, I haven't heard this Saints sex scandal mentioned at all.
Perhaps we could distract you with a tasty bag of beignet.
Oh, I do. They look so good.
Maybe some tasty cafe au lait.
Yeah.
Some crawdads. Huh?
So let's talk about another NFL scandal. Speaking of kickers doing bad things, what's the deal with NFL players and massage therapists?
I mean, I guess it's a numbers thing. I'm going to assume NFL players are at the highest rate of needing massages
Right.
or needing some kneading if you want to play the homophone game.
There it is. Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, I guess it makes sense that they have to get massages a lot.
I get that.
But yeah, it's also, I was thinking about this when you shared this story. Is a great kicker more important to a team than a great quarterback?
I mean, it is very important.
I was thinking about that. I think it might be.
Yeah, I saw someone recently propose the idea of just eliminating kickers from football, and no fucking way.
The fuck out of here.
Like, a game-winning field goal is every bit as exciting to
Because
watch.
you can get to the quarterback with to the Super Bowl with a mid quarterback, right? Like,
Yeah.
hi Joey Flacco, right? Like,
Yeah.
like you can do that, but you cannot do that with a mid kicker
No, absolutely
because
not.
so many games. How many games have you seen that were game-winning field goals or like point afters and stuff like that, where you're just sitting there, you're like, man, that like the pressure of doing that, like. When you look at it like an Adam Vinatieri or something like that, like these guys that are just like mega clutch and kicking rocks 60 fucking yards. But it's like, there's a reason that the Chiefs still have Harrison Butker even after he said what he said.
I mean, it's because the Chiefs are a highly conservative organization that supports anti-abortion shit in
fair
the
enough.
front office
Yeah.
kind of way. I feel like there are other teams that would have cut him for that shit, and the Chiefs just don't have that level of integrity, I would say.
Fair.
Because the Chiefs also, a thing that gets glossed over about them a bunch is there was a poll, like a player satisfaction poll in terms of like, how well does your organization
Oh, we were
treat
talking
you?
about this, right? And they get like really shitty ratings.
Chiefs were the worst in the NFL in terms of like their facilities and just like their fucking dietitian got like a D or an F. Like, it was bad. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised they kept Harrison.
Whenever
Butker.
football teams have dietitians, I always get like, yeah, like I really feel like these guys could probably just have one of these, right?
Yeah, you would think. Well, I mean, the NFL's minimum salary isn't like what,
Yeah,
like the
fair enough.
NBA is the only one that has like a minimum salary where you're fucking set for life if you play like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But there's like linemen and shit. I remember seeing a video, I think it was an episode of Hard Knocks. It had to be. I don't know where else I would have seen this, but I believe it was Tyreek Hill gifted the entire offense like scooters. And there was some of those
That
players.
was the Cowboys one, right?
It might have
Who was it that they got the scooters? I remember that.
either one. I mean, that's not important.
Because weren't they filming that in Oxnard or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember that much detail about it. I just remember them going fucking nuts because they got scooters, and you would think like you can afford a fucking scooter, can't you? You just buy your own scooter. But
Maybe they just didn't think to get one. You know,
that could be.
the best gifts are the gifts you didn't even know you needed, Adam. Like, what? Imagine you get a group of you get 11 guys dune buggies. Bet you didn't know you needed a dune buggy until you got one.
Yeah, a bunch of dudes who can barely walk. Of course, you get them scooters. They're gonna love that. So Justin Tucker, we should talk about him.
Yeah. It's thank God he plays for the Ravens, so you know he won't have to deal with any problems.
I mean, I could see Justin Tucker getting cut, absolutely, because he had a shitty season.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
And he is the most accurate kicker in NFL history. He's got that going for him. But in a season where it seemed like kickers were hitting like 55 to 60-yard field goals at will, Justin Tucker fucking struggled. And I wonder if he had something on his mind that was distracting him. I don't know. Yeah. But he's accused of the same thing Deshaun Watson was. Deshaun Watson allegedly had a bit of a penchant for showing his dick to massage therapists and like trying to turn his massages into fucking. And that's what Justin Tucker is accused of now also. From 2012 to 2016, one of the first incidents, a woman claims that during a massage, he like tried to stroke her inner thigh. He exposed himself and then he left what she believed to be jizz on the massage table. Mm-hmm. She was the first one to come forward, and then 8 other women came forward after that. There were claims that he had been banned from various massage parlors.
I have questions about the jizz on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Was he cranking or did that just kind of happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because like if he had a chubby that he had folded down and she was just pressing in and he jizzed on that, man, dude needs to step up his game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because how do you cover that when you're that dude? Hey, sorry about that. That comes out of my belly button sometimes.
Maybe he didn't. It seems like he probably didn't want to cover that up. Like it seemed like
he's like, would you like to see my jizz?
Well, that's a thing dudes get off on all the time.
Sure, yeah, you're right, yeah.
Like that's what the exposing himself part is.
It's very Louis C.K. energy, yeah.
I worked with a woman in South Dakota at one of my insurance jobs. A fucking furnace repair guy came over to work on her furnace.
Yeah.
And while he's down there, she hears him like scream a little bit and she runs down and is like, what happened? And he's got his fucking pants down, dick out, and points to his thigh and goes, oh, I burned myself a little bit. And she was like, you're just trying to show me your dick. And she ended up like her and another customer he did it to ended up suing and winning. So some dudes, like, they just get off on that showing someone their dick.
That's fucking wild.
It's so weird. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I think about, like, do you remember the thing about the Ravens is they won't really do anything until public opinion becomes so drastic. Like, remember Ray Rice?
Oh, yeah.
When that shit happened, the Ravens were like, it's fine. And then it started to, like, more came out and shit like that. And then they were just like, all right, we'll release him. Like, and they were like, well, he lied to us. That's what they said. They even said that. They were like, well, Ray Rice lied about what happened to us.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's the problem you have, not dragging a woman by her hair.
Yeah. I am interested to see if any of this ever reached the Ravens in any way. Because the first woman who came forward said she thought about doing it in 2015, but was afraid of retaliation of some sort. But
it's a kicker.
It feels like the same thing where someone could probably just get the Ravens' internal correspondence about this and see if they knew ahead of time.
I don't think we're preaching to new people here when we kind of say, hey, this is what women are talking about, guys.
Yeah.
This is the kind of shit women are dealing with at all times. At any time, you could see a dick.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's by a very large, wealthy, strong man that can do literally anything he wants until the law catches him.
Yeah.
So, like, that's real.
And not just that, but Justin Tucker is an incredibly well-liked man. He, I believe, presents himself as very religious.
Not by massage tables, if you know what I mean.
Is he the one that's like an opera singer?
No.
Let's.
Cesaro, 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 Cesaro.
Am I making that up? I sure am not. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Justin Tucker. He is also an opera singer. So he's got that rep. He's a kicker. He's a singer. This guy wouldn't do
I
something
come
like
up,
this.
rub your thigh, make you see me jizzle.
Yeah.
I'm also an opera singer, actually.
For the record, Justin Tucker has denied all of these claims on social media.
I've denied all several dozen of these claims. Yeah, man.
That's the thing. Like when it's one,
Nine.
yeah. Even when it's one, like
When it's one, there's at least plausible deniability, which is oftentimes how most of these things get unpunished.
Yeah.
Is because it's like, how you gonna prove that? I'm just a guy. It's like Cosby, right?
yeah.
It's just a rumor. So when it's 9 people.
9 people in one specific community.
Yeah.
Here's my thinking. You're an NFL player. Just go fucking meet someone and have sex with them.
I think that's not part of it, right? Like
yeah, that's the thing. It's got to be something more than just that. It's got to be like a
Well,
kink.
it's like the Louis C.K. thing. I remember because this was the thing where I had said at the time, just fuck a fan, dude.
Yeah.
And then now I'm realizing, that's kind of not the point, right? Like, that's not it. I love the Baltimore Sun yesterday, as of recording, released an article that said Ravens fans wrestle with allegations of inappropriate behavior by superstar kicker. Yeah.
Oh yeah, is that a struggle?
Yeah. What's the struggle? What's the struggle? That it's a white guy on the Ravens that did something terrible?
Yeah, I would be interested to hear what the struggle is, but also I'm probably not going to read that article.
Boy, do the Ravens love fucking really horrible crimes.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a track record of accusations, if nothing else, up to and including murder.
Yeah. Ray Lewis knows about the jizz, but he ain't saying shit.
Yeah. I wonder if Ray Lewis's white suit will ever pop up on like golden collectibles or something.
They're trying to target me. No, Ray. That's not how that, well, in a way. Remember when he was doing that whole, was it the thing about like, that was the same time where he was talking about like the football strike and how necessary it was. It was like right after the murder allegations, how like necessary football was for like the peace of Americans.
Yeah.
And you're like, did you kill a guy?
Allegedly. Well, I mean, it's not even alleged. It's just a rumor. Who doesn't stop at a fast food dumpster on their way home from the Super Bowl, huh? Come on.
I do every time.
Yeah. You just got to make a quick fast food dumpster run. So, hey, let's stay on the Ravens.
Great. We love the Ravens.
For a second.
At least it's just their players that are doing horrible things, right?
Oh, man. Back in October, video of a Ravens fan randomly assaulting 2 Commanders fans in Baltimore went viral. It's a crazy video. This guy he's looking for people wearing Commanders jerseys and just walks up, kicks a guy kind of in the hip, and then I think he knocks that guy out because one of these people ended up with a concussion and was pretty seriously injured. And he's like throwing punches at the other guy. What you don't see in the video is those 2 like lost their phones in the altercation and came back, and he apparently assaulted them again. He was just like there waiting.
Man, he is not what I expected to see when I first read the article, by the way.
What were you expecting?
He looks like somebody who would have more of a sexual assault allegation that got buried, not brawling assault. He looks like his name should be Blake.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that there's maybe some allegations out there. Like, I'm not giving that guy this benefit of the doubt at all, right, just because this is the only crime we know about. He seems like a real fuckface. 24-year-old John Callis. He was identified very shortly after the video went viral. He was working at an insurance firm at the time. They fired him.
I mean, that's just creating business.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, depending on what kind of insurance or something. So he turned himself in very shortly thereafter. He's charged with 1 count of first-degree assault, 3 counts of second-degree assault, which carries a maximum sentence of 55 years in prison. And here's the thing. He's not going to, but that fuckface seems like he deserves a lot of years in prison.
Yeah, a couple of years in prison would really help him out, I think.
Because this is not the first time he's been arrested and charged with beating someone while drunk.
He's got Rappaport face.
A little bit. Yeah.
That's why he looks so punchable.
Yeah. He's a piece of shit. Like, he's got at least 2 other arrests for this exact same thing. Just getting so drunk, being so angry that you just decide, well, I got to kick some ass now.
But honestly, he's doing great in the ass kicking. If I'm being honest, like.
Well, that's the thing. He's
a lot of wins.
He's fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you noticed that part. Here's the thing. I don't like to say this, but it would have been nice if this guy got stabbed or something. Like, that's what he needs way more than jail. This guy needs to get pistol whipped after punching someone for wearing the wrong jersey. That'll take care of it. That will absolutely fix the problem. He needs to lose a fight, and he just hasn't. And now all he's getting is, he got sentenced to 10 years in prison, but it's all suspended other than time served. So he's just going to be on probation, and then in 5 years, he'll fucking punch a Steelers fan in the head.
Yeah, or beat a Nationals fan to death or something.
Yeah, he'll kill someone eventually, and then he still probably won't be charged with anything. It'll be self-defense.
No, he looks like his dad owns a dealership.
Yeah, yeah. And he does, like, after he beats up these 2 significantly smaller, unsuspecting people, he does the, like, bicep thing and goes, I don't lose. It's like, you should, though. You should.
Yeah.
I hope you do at some point.
Not in a center line uppercut won't fix.
Yeah, yeah. I've told the story before. I had a cousin named Ben. He's probably still alive. But he, for one, if I seem especially dismissive, he once dangled me over a freeway overpass by my ankles. But he also...
Shout out to Ben.
Huh?
What's his name again?
Ben.
Ben, yeah, shout out. That's cool. That's just cool.
Yeah, it was really fucking great. It's why I'm such a family guy now. And...
Hey, let go of my legs there, Lois.
I don't watch that show. So Ben, he at one point was taking Taekwondo and decided it made him a real tough guy. And we were at the mall, and he was following this kid who had to be 3-4 years younger than him. And Ben was like 16, 17 at the time. So this kid was like 12, 13. And Ben is just following this kid around, like threatening him, taunting him. And all of a sudden the kid just turns around and fucking punches Ben in the face, and his nose explodes.
Oh, so good.
Like, he got wrecked by a child. And
How
it was
satisfying is that to see?
It was exactly what that motherfucker needed. Perfect timing, everything. Ideal. And I wish this video ended that way. I wish one of these people he hit was like a UFC guy or something who just choked him out.
That's a thing that happens actually in boxing gyms a lot, is like mid-talent guys like to bully newer people, and they'll say like, oh, I'll teach you to get better, and then they just want to feel great about. So then if you're a veteran or you're an equivalent difference or size, you drag them in and you say, all right, we're going now.
Yeah.
And then I'm not gonna lie, I've enacted some in-ring justice before in my time, where somebody's like being terrible, or if somebody's saying homophobic stuff, you're like, all right, man, let's go in the ring, come on.
Yeah.
Like, what? And be like, no, it's cool to say that stuff. Let's go.
Yeah. This guy needs to lose a fight. He absolutely needs to lose a fight. Way more than he needs to go to jail.
Honestly, sometimes that's one of the biggest problems I have with the modern world is how many people like to clutch their pearls at the concept of an ass kicking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot stress to you enough. Some people need to be recalibrated by receiving an ass kicking.
Yeah.
That is a real thing that some people need, just because you think that violence is abhorrent.
And in this guy's case, not just an ass kicking, it needs to be like he gets punched in the solar plexus by like a 5'7" spider monkey of a man.
Yeah. He needs to fight a Filipino guy.
Yeah. He needs
like he needs to go up against like some guy who's fucking good at like SWAT. Or like fucking Muay Thai or something like that. That'll just crush his fucking windpipe with with an elbow to the throat.
Yeah. He'd be fixed overnight.
Right? I've seen stuff where like also too like you fuck with me in public, I'm gonna laugh at you and keep moving. I've seen a lot of dudes I know that were fighters that were a lot shorter, and they're like, nah, I feel like I could prove something to this guy real quick and just devastate people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never know who you're fucking with.
That's right.
So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to keep tabs on this guy, see if his ass gets kicked at some point in the future. Speaking of getting your ass kicked, this next story. Back in September, several members of the Tufts University men's lacrosse team
Ooh, Massachusetts represent.
had to be hospitalized following a workout. And at the time, school officials promised to conduct an internal investigation into what happened. The results of that investigation have been released. As it turns out, the person who led the workout was a Tufts University alum who worked as the equipment manager for the lacrosse team while he was a student. But now he's a Navy SEAL.
Somebody has to prove something to dad.
See, I wonder if there's some element of that here, because being the equipment manager sort of implies you wanted to be on the team in some capacity, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna wonder. I want to look up how tall this guy is.
Oh, yeah?
I'm gonna guess that he was not tall.
So-
Sometimes there's an overcompensation in the gym.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I wonder if it's like him coming back and being like, oh, you all thought you were fucking tough. Survive this. Because this guy, they don't name him in the report, but shortly before leading this workout, he'd graduated from the basic underwater demolition / SEAL training program. And after that, he comes back to Tufts University and is like, hey, how about I lead a workout? And he puts together this workout plan that is based on his SEAL training. And one person at the school sees it and approves it. No one else in the athletic department saw or knew anything about it. And this investigation found that the workout focused almost exclusively on upper extremity muscle groups and that it involved performing 250 burpees per hour among other exercises. How is there time for other exercises?
250 burpees per hour. So you're looking at about 40, not 40 per minute, 4 per minute, right?
Yeah, but you also got to do other shit
Yeah,
too.
that's the other stuff. That's not 4 burpees a minute for an hour doesn't seem too bad, but I guess it's all the other shit. Like they're clearly going into basically renal failure.
That seems pretty intense. Like when I played football, we did burpees and you did not do a lot of them at once. That is grueling shit.
Yeah. I remember there was this guy that we used to be friends with that became very libertarian. It's not the one you're thinking of. And he did a thing where he was doing a like burpee challenge, like 50 burpees, like do 50 burpees. And he would like tag me and I'm like, I'm not fucking doing that.
Yeah, fuck that.
They'd be like, why not? I'm like, cause I'm long and gangly and you're 5'8".
Yeah.
I'm not doing that shit.
And so this workout, it was described as being unusually intense. Of the 61 students who participated, 24 developed a condition called exertional rhabdomyolysis, aka rhabdo.
Rhabdo!
And you also got to take into account this was September in the Northeast.
Yeah.
I know September in New York is pretty fucking brutal.
I mean, it can be anywhere from 65 degrees to 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Like that's literally like the most transitional, like random weather.
Yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little hot because
I'm a little warm.
What happens when you get rhabdo is proteins in your muscles, proteins and electrolytes from damaged muscle tissue are released into your bloodstream and it can cause kidney damage. It can kill you.
I would like to add too that this does not a lot. It says it's like mostly upper body stuff. That doesn't really seem like a lacrosse team would have to go for that. And also, is this the first day workout for SEALs, or is this the regular one once you're going? Because like you obviously can't just start a mid session workout, right? Like or a mid plan workout, right? Something that the Navy SEALs might take 3 weeks to get accustomed to, and then
Right.
you're just throwing it at a fucking lacrosse team.
Yeah,
That's bad training.
It is. It's bad training. This was a bad idea. And I deep down really do wonder if there was some sort of like get back involved here.
Yeah, and it's also like this guy was probably really young, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of like flexing too. That's like, oh, you're a lacrosse team. How come I'm in better shape than you? And it's like, that is embarrassing. That's like the guy that goes back to high school when he's in college just to show everybody that he started hitting the gym while he was in college, you know?
Yeah. He's showing up like, you ready to get owned by your former equipment manager? And they're like, we did not go to school at the same time you did. 250 burpees. Do it. Harsh. Anyway, I just thought that was a fun story.
No, that is fun. I'm going to do 250 burpees in an hour.
Okay. Do me a favor.
Die.
Don't put it on Instagram.
I'm too lanky. An hour-long video on Instagram.
Also, I feel like burpees are not mostly upper body stuff. Because am I forgetting what a burpee is?
A burpee is you start from a standing position, you drop down to a push-up position, do a push-up, and then you hop back up, and then you jump in the air, and that's one rep.
Yes. Okay. So
you drop down, do a push-up, and then you kind of like you jump up afterwards. Yeah.
That is clearly upper and lower body.
It's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But
it's a full body train. Like it's a full body process. Yeah.
Who am I to nitpick?
I fucking hate them, especially because of my fucking knee. A lot of times I'm just jumping up on one leg.
Yeah, they're bad times. They're bad times. When I had to do them in football practice, I was not a fan. So this next story, feel good story, finally here. Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson both had their number 22 jerseys retired on the same day. College jerseys. It would be funny if they had their WNBA jerseys retired and they're like, no, you just
keep getting new ones.
Yeah,
but then they kept retiring those too because they're so good.
They had them retired on the same day because they wore the same number, 22, and their jerseys were retired on February 2nd. So
Groundhog Day.
How about that? I mean, there's not much else to that story. Caitlin Clark went to Iowa. A'ja Wilson went to
I've never heard of that.
South Carolina.
Caitlin Clark went to Iowa?
I meant Listens to Iowa, which is the name of a Slipknot album.
Okay, yeah, that makes way more sense.
Yeah, she, I believe, is Australian. I believe she's from overseas.
Yeah, she's a famous Slipknot fan.
My absolute fave A'ja Wilson fact is that her name is a Steely Dan reference.
Fun.
Her dad was a huge Steely Dan fan, and her name, A''J''A. That is the name of a Steely Dan album. It's pronounced A'ja. So that's fun. And last thing I want to talk about, I'm interested especially to hear your opinion on this. You think Eli Manning should have got inducted into the Hall of Fame?
First ballot?
Yep.
Maybe not first ballot, but yes, eventually.
Okay. What about Aaron Rodgers?
I don't think he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer either.
I guarantee he will be. And I don't see it. I don't
agree with it. I think Aaron Rodgers has the most inflated sense of athleticism of I think any quarterback I've thought in a long time.
The problem is most of sports media just fucking goes with it. And they're like, yeah, he's one of the greatest of all time. No, he's not.
Oh, he very much is not.
Aaron Rodgers actually benefited from being on really good teams more than he gets credit for. The Packers are fucking great at drafting talent. They're fucking amazing at it. And it's never mentioned as part of his legacy how good that front office is. Instead, you hear, he never threw to a receiver who was drafted in the first round. They got Devontae Adams in the second round. He was voted best receiver in the NFL by other wide receivers.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like, hey, what about Tom Brady? How's his receiver core been other than Randy Moss?
Yeah.
You know, it's just fucking people that they build around. Like, that is silly. I think first ballot Hall of Famers are transcendent, right? They are players that obviously make the team significant. Like, when you think about first ballots, you think of like a Joe Montana, a Barry Sanders, right? Like guys that like they get the championships. They also get the stats. They also get the wins. They're not accidenting their way into success. Joey Flacco accidented his way. And I know I'm shitting on him a lot, but like, that is a man that lived and died by pass interference.
But I mean, we're not going to pretend that's like Eli Manning lucked his way into anything. Eli Manning, statistically speaking, is the most clutch quarterback in NFL history.
Well, yeah, he's had 2 incredible.
And
I mean, those 2 Super Bowl wins were amazing.
well, also, I heard Adam Schefter say a thing earlier. Can you write the history of the NFL without that player's name?
Yeah.
If you can't, then they're probably a first ballot Hall of Famer. And you can't tell the fucking Patriots story without Eli Manning.
Eli, it is fascinating. Like it is a fascinating thing, and it's actually really funny to me. Like I find it funny that Eli Manning is the spoiler player for the Patriots, the guy that they could not figure him out. And like legitimately, I don't think anybody would be like, well, just Eli Manning's just a better player. Or like it just something about that team at that time. It was like it was this fucking incredibly like held back process. I think he was very spotty in a lot of his seasons. It wasn't a necessary consistency, but he had a couple of incredible years.
Yeah, I feel like with Eli Manning, it's like, sorry he played his best when it mattered the most. Like, I get he had some seasons like where statistically he wasn't the best quarterback in the NFL, but you get that dude in the playoffs, he was fucking deadly.
Playoffs?
Yeah. God, that really is. That's becoming like the my wife thing.
It's a meme, yeah. Like he made himself a meme in that. It's like practice. I think Eli should be in the Hall of Fame? Yeah. Do I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer? Probably not. But if they don't put him in on the next one, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck's wrong with you guys? And the same way that like now in the notes you mentioned like, you know, who actually was a first ballot Hall of Famer was Jim Kelly. And I think the biggest difference is that Jim Kelly was wildly consistent in his skill, but also played. I love what happened to Jim Kelly because apparently he's also a huge asshole.
Yeah,
like a mega asshole. So I love that happened. But I can understand.
You mean the part where he lost 4 Super Bowls, not that he has cancer?
Oh, I like that too. I'm sorry if you're listening, Jim. I'm sorry about the cancer. I'm not sorry about the Super Bowls.
No. And like people are always like, "Oh, but it's so impressive that they got there 4 times in a row." It's way more impressive that they lost 4 in a row to me. Like
we've done You Don't Even Like Sports about the Bills, didn't we?
Yeah. That's actually Aaron Rodgers' story too. He's lost the most consecutive NFC championship games in NFL history. So yeah, I feel like
I think if a freak helmet catch didn't happen, the conversation would be very clear about first ballot versus not. That the helmet catch muddies up the actual debate. Like it gives the debate. It gives you a better push for the debate.
I would argue the helmet catch was the second best part of that play. Go back and watch what
the
kind
scramble.
Of
yeah, I mean it's an impressive scramble.
Eli Manning escaped to even get that pass off. That reminded me of what happened to Josh Allen at the end of the AFC Championship. If Dalton Kincaid catches that pass, that's like some helmet catch shit because Josh Allen got annihilated on that play and damn near completed that pass.
Yeah.
But I think that's why he got the MVP. I mean, they probably voted on it before then, but
probably because he's going to marry Haley Steinfeld.
I mean, I don't know what's.
Oh, that was Seinfeld.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
What's the deal with my wife?
Yeah, I mean, good for him.
Yes,
she's great.
Yeah, she's great in Hawkeye.
Yeah, and in True Grit.
Oh, so good in True Grit.
Yeah.
You know what's great about the True Grit remake? It was actually good, unlike the original True Grit.
Yeah, it was really fucking good. And it was one of those movies that I just went and saw because I wanted to go to the movies, and it was kind of the only thing.
Isn't that the movie John Wayne won his Oscar for acting?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yeah, you know, that's not, people don't like him because he's a good actor. He's John Wayne.
No way John Wayne should have won a fucking Oscar.
Giving Schwarzenegger an Oscar for True Lies. And you're like, okay, I liked it, but okay.
Yeah. The next week's episode is about people who won awards for the wrong work because I got in a little heat on the bsky.social for saying Beyonce should not have won Country Album of the Year nor Album of the Year. But it's not because she's black, obviously. It's because she should have won Album of the Year in fucking 2014 when she put out that self-titled album, the first secret overnight release of all time. Just don't get me started. We'll talk about it next week. So I think that's our episode. Jeff, thank you for doing the pod, except for Jeff.
Oh, come on, man.
Ooh, gotcha. What do we have to plug before we get out of here? Go listen to You Don't Even Like Sports wherever podcasts are at. And also follow me on Blue Sky, adamtoddbrown.bsky.social. That's Todd with 1D, because, man, I want to get off all the other platforms. Sure do. I sure do. But in this industry, you got to have a following somewhere or people won't talk to you. So follow us on Blue Sky. Jeff, what do you got to plug?
Man, all Blue Sky at Hey There Jeffro, and also Instagram at Hey There Jeffro, the number 2. So Hey There Jeffro 2, because my account was fucking nuked.
That's so crazy.
Dude, the connections that I have fucking lost, it's insane. I mostly book Mint on Card through that fucking app because all comedians are desperately checking their DMs.
Yeah.
Fuck. Anyway. Jeff has cool friends. You can check out early access to uncensored episodes with bonus content at patreon.com/JeffMay, where you can also get shows like Nerd with Dre and Jeff, as well as Ugh Fine with Kim Crawl. And on top of that, too, I open cards on camera, sometimes with Adam on the You Don't Even Like Sports YouTube account, sometimes with myself on the at Jeff Has Cool Cards YouTube accounts. Definitely check that out as well. You're all great. Tom and Jeff watch Batman, Gamefully Unemployed, Mint on Cards, second Friday of every month, Blast from the Past in beautiful Magnolia in Burbank, California. Did you hear that Burbank Sports Cards got broken into?
Oh, I did not. Yikes.
They did a huge smash and grab, like truck with a chains.
That doesn't surprise me at all. I would absolutely not open a fucking storefront in Los Angeles right now if you were selling valuable shit. No fucking way. When I had that Nazi office, we were trying to sublease it, and two of the people who came and looked at it, they did like masks for movies and shit, and they had like a storefront where they would display them. And they were like, we got to get somewhere that people can't just like break the door in and fucking come in and take everything.
Shit,
yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, let's get the fuck out of here. Jeff, say goodbye.
You get the Beyonce didn't deserve that Grammy rookie card for some reason.
Goodbye, everybody. We love you.
Jimmy in 2014.